Hi, welcome. My name's Joe Pujol, and I prepare estate plans for Florida families. I'd like to welcome you into our office today and to meet part of our team. Julius?
I'm Julius Siler. I've been working with Joe for a number of years. What we do is estate planning. Estate planning. What does that mean? Estate doesn't mean you have to have a lot of money. What it means is you have to have a plan in place. Our goal here is to keep families out of court, out of conflict, and give them peace of mind. Joe does that really well, and we have special ways to complete that.
Right. As Julius was saying, you don't need to be young, you don't need to be old, you don't have to have amassed substantial assets, or maybe even just have a few. You may even be a college kid or a parent. You need to know what would happen if for whatever reason you can't be there to make decisions for them, whether it's temporary or even, God forbid, long term. So the idea is to have a plan in place that you know your loved ones will be taken care of, that the courts won't have to intervene and make decisions for you, that your wishes will be honored.
That's right, Joe. We get a lot of calls from families with young children. They're concerned about, they want to take a trip. They're concerned about what happens if they go out for the evening and something happens. We actually answer that question and we give them the hard facts. If you go out on date night and you leave your children with a babysitter and heaven forbid something happens to you, not necessarily you're killed, but if you're incapacitated in a car accident, what's going to happen with the kids if heaven forbid the police come knocking on the door and there's just a babysitter? So it is situations like this that we try to avoid.
You want to leave in that scenario, you want to have instructions in place, a basic plan. You don't want the courts to step in. You don't want your child, whether they're 12, 5 years old or whatever, to be traumatized by temporary protective custody. You want your choices honored. You don't want that strange neighbor, that strange uncle, or somebody all of a sudden watching over your kids and you not knowing what's going to happen. Just having a basic plan in place. Basic plan, we're really referring to just maybe a temporary guardian, long-term guardian, who will honor your wishes and take care of your kids. Basically, it's a plan to protect what matters most.
Yeah, even temporary, permanent, what's the difference here? Well, a lot of people have families outside the state. Florida's a pretty transient state. There might be relatives in New York, Chicago, Texas, who you would want to have as your permanent guardian for your children. But they're there. You're here. So that's why it's important to also pick temporary guardians to be able to stay with the children until the long-term permanent guardians come to town.
And guys, we're not just talking about the worst case scenario here. You could just be traveling. You could be out of state, whether it's work or mom could be at the gym and all of a sudden mom can't make it home. She had an accident at the gym. There's no ID on her. She's in the hospital for a couple of days. Maybe you're traveling for business, or mom or dad's traveling for business in another country, and it'll take you a few days to get back. You still don't want to have a few days with your children, minors, are up in the air and you don't know what's happening, or they don't know what's happening with them. You want to have some instructions behind that make it seamless. No matter what happens, they're always taken care of and out of conflict.
And now let's fast forward. Now your kids are going off to college, like yours.
As are mine. At least one.
My granddaughter is going off to college. It is so important that as adults, they too have documents in place. Because once they leave that nest and they, heaven forbid, are hurt, injured in an accident, guess what? You as mom and dad can't do anything about it.
Right. They may be 17, but the odds are they're 18 years or older when they get to college. An 18-year-old's an adult. But come on, they're our kids. They need our help or at least our guidance. As Julius mentioned, if for whatever reason they're at the doctors, I mean, they've probably never dealt with doctors on their own, or they end up in a hospital, or they have to open bank accounts. You can't help them. They're an adult, and financial institutions and hospitals won't speak to you because of HIPAA and other regulations. Your kid's an adult, and you're not the patient. Some basic documents in place will always allow you to be there when they need you, when they need you most.
Simple things. Power of attorney, where they have given you the power to do financial decisions if they were incapacitated. Healthcare power of attorney, so that you can converse with the doctors and make medical decisions, as opposed to the doctors making medical decisions for your child for the first time in your life as a parent. These are the type of things that we do here at Pujol.
Especially in Florida, South Florida. I mean, we're used to storms, hurricanes. There are none coming right now, but we're getting into the season soon. We don't want to wait till a storm surge is at our doors to start planning. We want to plan ahead so when that storm does get nearby, hopefully circumvents us, but when it does get nearby, we're ready for it and we have peace of mind. It's really, that's all about. It's about being prepared and avoiding the little messes in life. Life is messy. We can keep that nightmare or that mess from becoming a nightmare.
Again, keeping families out of court, out of conflict, and giving them peace of mind.